After the Battle of Hoth and the capture of Han Solo, Crimson Dawn and their leader, Qi'ra, had their grand reintroduction to the galaxy by taking Solo for themselves and auctioning him off to the highest bidder in the War of the Bounty Hunters. But that was just Phase 1 of Qi'ra's plan. Phase 2 was revealed in the Crimson Reign comics by Charles Soule, which recently wrapped up. So here's how Qi'ra launched the galaxy and the Empire into chaos. At the end of the War of the Bounty Hunters, we learned that Crimson Dawn had spies in every major faction: the Empire, the Rebellion, and every criminal syndicate. They also hired a number of groups and individuals to help their cause. During her time with Darth Maul, Qi'ra learned the true identity of Emperor Palpatine as Darth Sidious, and it became her goal to remove the Sith from power over the galaxy. She wanted to spread power out across several leaders rather than just one tyrant. To start, she hired a group of mercenaries known as the Orphans to fabricate a war between the criminal syndicates. After the near destruction of the Hutt cartel in the War of the Bounty Hunters, Qi'ra spread the rumor that the Empire was on the lookout for a new partnership in the underworld. She then had the Orphans secretly strike out at each syndicate, framing the others for the attack. And so Black Sun, the Pikes, what was left of the Hutts, and every other crime family in the galaxy went to war. Qi'ra also had two skilled assassins on her side, Deathstick and Ochi of Bestoon. Deathstick was hired to kidnap a young girl named Cordelia, who was the heir to two Corellian syndicates, Mourner's Wail and the Unbroken Clan. Her capture helped create more chaos, but Qi'ra also began mentoring the young girl for her likely future as the leader of not one, but two syndicates. Meanwhile, Ochi traveled to Coruscant, where he simultaneously assassinated 10 of the Emperor's royal guards right in front of him to prove the old man was vulnerable. But Ochi was working both sides of the fight for his own self-preservation, a fact known to Darth Vader and probably Qi'ra as well. But when he wasn't assassinating royal guards, Ochi helped Vader, Sabe, and a handful of vigilantes hunt down and destroy corrupt Imperials who had begun working for the Dawn. Qi'ra's next ally was an old scholar of the Force named Madeline Sun, the Archivist. Before the Battle of Yavin, Han Solo of all people turned her into the Empire for her collection of Force-related contraband so he could steal one of her pieces for Jabba the Hutt. But she was saved from imprisonment by Qi'ra, who offered Sun the chance to fight against the Empire by finding and recruiting the Jedi Master Yoda to their cause. She was able to track him to Dagobah, where she was changed by the Darkside Cave, and although she never saw the Old Master, she knew she had been saved by him, and so she left him alone. Her next task was with the Knights of Ren. Qi'ra sent them to rob a Darkside artifact from Darth Vader's own fortress on Mustafar. They fought their way through Imperial forces to find something called the Screaming Key hidden away in a vault. They narrowly escaped Vader himself and rendezvoused with the Archivist on a desolate planet filled with giant, slumbering monsters. The Screaming Key awakened them all, so the Knights fought their way to the center, where the key put the creatures back to sleep and unlocked a new mysterious relic resembling an hourglass. With that in her possession, Qi'ra began Phase 3 of her plan, activating every agent she had within the Empire to create even more chaos however they could, to distract the Sith while she unleashed her own hidden empire. And that's a story we'll have to wait to see starting in October 2022. Now that Crimson Reign is over, I liked it a lot, especially Madeline Sun's issue. That was a top-tier Star Wars comic, but the Knights of Ren High story and the final issue with the Screaming Key and all the monsters was also great. Like War of the Bounty Hunters before it, Crimson Reign feels like it's really elevating the comics and telling a big story in the Star Wars galaxy, but it's also working better as a crossover event than I think War of the Bounty Hunters did. War of the Bounty Hunters was very focused on the auction of Han Solo. Many of the individual issues of like the main Star Wars run or Darth Vader or Dr. Aphra all seemed like they were treading water every month, waiting for the actual War of the Bounty Hunters comic to push the plot forward. Crimson Reign isn't focused on a singular event, it's spread out across the galaxy. So Dr. Aphra, for example, is telling a really cool treasure hunting story, where Aphra is competing against a Crimson Dawn agent for another powerful relic. We're seeing the chaos of Crimson Reign from their point of view, but they're also getting to do something completely unique from the main series, and I like that a lot. I feel like I'm getting more out of reading each individual series than I did with War of the Bounty Hunters. But that's what went down in just the Crimson Reign series and the crux of Qi'ra's plan. Let me know what you thought of the series in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and await the dawn.